nobody on base and still just one out here in the bottom of one.
Man, make a recommendation. Walker.
They don't.
Yep.
Plumlee hammers it out to the wall and left. It hits the left fielder's glove. She played it perfectly, and Plumlee's going to be in a second. Now she's looking for threes. The throw's just now coming in, and she is safe. The left fielder pops out of her glove. Error of the inning in the field. And another visit coming to the circle, and we're going to have a change in the circle here in the first.
And we had a reset of the stream. It automatically did it. It's very hot out here today, so it just recycled itself. But we're right here live. You didn't miss much of anything except an error. Kaylee Plumlee ripped it into the left field gap. It tipped off the glove of the left fielder. Down for an error. She was at third. Now her runner's in 4. And Gordonsville is up 9-0. Jacob still went out. This game is, it's going to be the 15-0 run rule. The question is it going to be way beyond that?
So a call to the bullpen for Halls. We're going to keep it right here. 9-0 lead for the Gordonsville Tigerettes. Once again, we mentioned it went to a break itself.
If that happens this week, it's sometimes we've got tons of fail saves. Like we're ready for the elements, but sometimes it may do that. So if it ends real quick, don't panic. Just come right back briefly and rejoin us. And right now, Jacob, Halls just doesn't have an answer. Like, there's no place they can go to get them out of this. They're just looking for a way to get a couple of outs because they have to get through 3. And at the current rate we're on, we're going to be here at 4 o'clock in the bottom of the first inning.
Well, and the call to the bullpen is for Jayla Cobb, not the Jayla Cobb from the Upperman Bees. Jayla Cobb, the sophomore for Halls, 8 1/3 innings pitched this year. She's got an ERA of 7.56, a record of 0-1. She's given up 14 hits, 13 runs, 9 have been earned, 8 walks, and 1 strikeout. Once again, if you're tuned in on the UCR Facebook page, YouTube channel, especially if you're tuned in on Facebook, make sure you hit that share button. Let everyone out there know we're still broadcasting. It did go off for just a second. We're back and going again as Abby Brinkley comes to the plate. She is now the 12th batter here in the bottom of the first. 9 runs across for the Tigerettes, and still only 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Runner on third base is Callie Underwood, who came in to run for Kaylee Plumlee, and she reached on the error, then went all the way to the wall out and left. That one missed outside from Abby Brinkley, and it's 1-0. Brinkley singled in her first AB. She came around to score the 3rd run of the game.
Absolute dominance right now to Gordonsville Tigerettes.
This one, Brinkley swung on into foul territory, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
But you want to keep this rolling if you're Gordonsville, right? 9-0 is fun, but you really want to get it to 15. And then you can probably go to Callie Dillard in the circle if you want to, get her some innings. She's going to be, you hope, in the circle next year in this tournament. So if you can get her some innings, that would be fantastic for Coach Bush. But you need to keep pouring it on here and get to some safe numbers, get to some milestones.
So once again, it was a change in the circle for the Lady Tigers as Cobb brings it home. This one's in the dirt. Ward blocks it up nicely, and the runner stays at third in the form of Underwood. And it's 2-1 here to Abby Brinkley.
And quite frankly, with the velocity where it is, Riddick was probably too accurate. And because Gordonsville was able to just tee off, so a little bit of wild in this situation isn't the worst thing for Halls.
And that one misses upstairs. It's now 3 balls and a strike to Abby Brinkley, and still the only out so far was the ground out by Camry Johnson to first base on the 3 unassisted. Here's the 3-1. That one's upstairs, ball 4. That is the first walk of the ball game drawn by the Tigerettes.
And you still need to throw strikes, obviously, but too many strikes can be a problem when you're throwing it as slow as they are right now against this 1 through 9 lineup.
Bailey Stewart is the one who opened it up earlier in this inning. It was the 2-run shot when she first came to the plate. She's now got 2 runners on first and third with 1 out.
They're about to try to steal second. I'd be stunned if they didn't.
Abby Brinkley over at first after the walk bunch shown. Pitch in the dirt, and that will be the stolen bag for Abby Brinkley. Nobody covering second base. They were giving it to her the whole way.
And I mentioned earlier, this is a Gordonsville team clearly in attack mode. Every time they have an opportunity to do anything aggressively, they've done it here in this first inning.
It's 1-0 here to Stewart at the plate with runners on second and third. That one's upstairs, 2-0. And we talked about it here in this postseason, how the Tigerettes haven't really put away a lot of their opponents, even against Woodwell in the sectional game. Beat them 7-0. Clay County in the district championship game, 7-1. Joe Burns, they were able to put away. This one swing and a miss. It was low and away. Stewart was trying to reach for it, 2-1. But it's 9-0 right now, and still threatening for more with 1 out here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, it's You could not draw it up any better if you're Jonathan Bush over there. It's everything you wanted out of this first inning here in Murfreesboro.
2-1 coming to Stewart. This one hit hard by Stewart down the line. A fair ball. 1 run scores. They're going to send the runner. Now they throw on the brakes. Pretty good throw came in. Stewart takes second base on the throw in. It's an RBI single, and a runner's on second and third for Laura Thompson.
Absolutely clinical. Just continuing the carousel on here for Gordonsville. Now they're do that first run rule number, but they don't want to play 5. They want to play 3, so they got to keep pouring it on.
Runner coming on here is Paisley Underwood for Bailey Stewart. Courtesy runner on second. And Abby Brinkley is up to third base. He held her up there not to run into an out. It was a pretty good throw in from left.
I wasn't kidding at 1-0 when I said it was over.
It is
Just
now
trust me,
10-0 as Laura Thompson comes to the plate for the second time here in the first. She is the 5th batter in the lineup. That one's low in the dirt. 1-0.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know when this is going to stop.
Well, these are the only 2 pitchers they've thrown this year.
This is as big of a mismatch as I think I may have ever seen. And I'm not being hyperbolic. I don't know if I've ever seen a softball mismatch like this in my life.
Comes the 1-0. That hitter. Bases loaded now for Mackenzie Herron.
She can hit it out of here.
She absolutely can. So as the base is juiced with 1 out in the bottom of 1. We're already the second time through this lineup for the Tigerettes. It is the 15th batter to come to the plate.
And it's complete deflation for Halls.
Yeah.
You can see it in the fan, and you start to feel a little bit bad, but Gordonsville is just doing what they need to do. They're handling business.
Mackenzie Herron reached on an error, came around to score her first time. That one's in the dirt, 1-0, and that's the struggle right now for Jayla Cobb. Just haven't been able to even throw strikes. We saw Riddick started off. She was throwing strikes.
They're going to have to go back. They're going to.
It's a sophomore in the circle now in Cobb. This one misses outside, 2-0.
I mean, I mentioned some wild is good. And that first batter, she threw a couple of strikes. It's completely fled everything. And the motion is actually changing on every one of these pitches.
This one's a strike. That one's a ground ball. Left side. Third baseman comes home, but it's a high throw. The run will score. Brinkley. And then another run comes across in the form of Paisley Underwood. And it's a 12-0 lead on the E5.
I don't know what they're chirping from in the crowd right now, but it's 12-0, and this is ugly. It's
so Mackenzie Herron reaches on the fielder's choice, but there was an error on the throw. Laura Thompson is up to third base. Herron will take second, and it's ball 1 to Callie Dillard, who is now at the plate.
They need to go back to Riddick, or it's going to be 20-0. I'm not exaggerating. They need to go back to Riddick immediately.
Still only 1 out here in the bottom of 1. That one's upstairs, 2-0 to Dillard.
And the only reason you swing right now if you're Gordonsville is because it's 12-0.
Yeah.
And because you have chances to hit home runs. There's no chance 3 strikes are getting thrown in a row right now.
Cobb brings home the 2-0. That one's in the dirt. Ward blocks it up. 3-0 now to Dillard.
I don't know if we've never called a game like this.
Haven't been too
Gordonsville
many.
does this to lots of teams, but this is on another level.
Comes the 3-0. That's ball 4, and the bases are loaded again.
And you're 2 batters away from Kat Johnson again and Kaylee Plumley.
So Kaylin Roberts will come to the plate for the second time. She is the 8th batter in the lineup for the Tigerettes. There is 1 out in the bottom of the first. And that one misses low for ball 1 to Roberts.
I would expect Gordonsville to get this to 16-17 and then some pinch hitters to come in. But still, if you don't throw strikes, it doesn't matter.
Cobb brings it. That's low. Gets away from Ward. Runner trying to score. Thompson will do so easily, not even covering the plate. It's the 13th run across for the Tigerettes. Everybody else advances to second and third, and it's 2-0 to Roberts. 13-0 in the bottom of 1 here in the 1A state tournament. It's the opening game for the Tigerettes. And that one misses upstairs. 3 balls and no strikes now to Kaylin Roberts. So they made the change. Riddick was unable to get it out, but she was getting hit.
They
and
have
now
to go
Cobb
back to her.
Has come in, and she hit her. That would have been ball 4 anyways, and the bases are loaded again now for Camry Johnson.
They have to go back to Riddick. They have no choice because your only chance of getting outs is pop-outs, fly-outs, things like that. They're not striking out these hitters. They have to go back to Riddick, or we're going to be here all day.
Well, Camry Johnson comes to the plate with the bases loaded and still just one out here in the first.
Hit one out. Senior.
Well, she got the one, so she's taken. It's in the dirt. Good block up that time by Ward, and it's 1-0.
I mean, and none of the pitches have been remotely close here recently.
It's obviously a tough spot for Jayla Cobb, who started in left field, has come on to pitch for the senior Carly Riddick. Cobb just a sophomore. Here's the 1-0. That one swung on. Off the end of the bat. Going to be a tough play. Second baseman onto it. Throw to first is in time for the second out of the inning. It does bring another run across. So Camry Johnson has made both outs here in the second inning.
Well,
or in the first inning, I beg your pardon.
And that,
but she's driven in 2 runs.
Absolutely no problem with it. That is the mercy out call from the field umpire. It's close enough where you can call the out, and we've got no problem with that at all.
So now it's runners on second and third. Kat Johnson is to the plate for the third time here in the first. And that's upstairs for ball one.
Because she was definitely safe. But, again, we're okay.
Yes.
But that just gives Johnson some solace in there that she's got the 2 RBIs and probably should have on. It's all good.
Yeah, she's got a couple of ground outs, but has driven in 2 runs. Johnson at the plate here, and Kat Johnson, that's low and inside, 2-0.
You got to find a way to get over the plate if you're Cobb, because you got a gigantic problem on deck next. And a 14-0 game.
14-0 again. Run rule doesn't come into effect until the third at 15 runs. That one's behind Johnson. Here comes Diller trying to score, slides in safely. And that is the 15th run of the ball game for the Tigerettes. Roberts up to third in the process.
Well, how many times have we gone to break in recent weeks, especially in that Whitwell game, and said they're playing with their food a little bit, right? They're letting this team hang around. They are not doing that today.
No.
That is a busy stat sheet.
Everybody but Camry Johnson has reached. Everybody but Camry Johnson has scored. Camry Johnson has made both outs, but she has driven in 2 runs.
Yeah, there's nothing fluky about this.
There's 2 outs here in the inning, and it's a 3-0 count to Kat Johnson, and that's ball 4. So now runners on the corners for Kaylee Plumley for the 3rd time here in the inning. That is the 4th walk issued by Jayla Cobb, and she has faced 8 batters. 15-0 lead for the Tigerettes. And Kaylee Plumley's at the plate for the 3rd time here in the first. That's low and away. Run trying to score from third. Now trying to get in a run down. Roberts pauses, slides in, and she is safe at home. Here comes another runner, and then back into third base is Kat Johnson. Roberts looked like she was going to be out, started to go back to third. The throw went down, and she was able to score easily coming back home for the 16th run of the game for the Tigerettes. Kat Johnson took advantage, moved up to third base in the process, and it's 1-0 to Kaylee Plumley.
It is now the most dominant inning of spring sports I've ever seen.
And that one inside to Plumley, 2-0.
And that's just period. Never seen anything like this. And it's in a state tournament.
Yeah. That one's outside, 3-0.
And we have seen some clunkers of innings in our time. This one is
16 runs have come across here in the inning. The 3-0 is ball 4, and Kaylee Plumley will take her base. She has reached 3 times here in the first inning.
This is like a fever dream.
And it's runners on the corners, and still no visit to the circle for the sophomore Jayla Cobb as Callie Underwood comes on to run again for Kaylee Plumley.
And what's probably happening here, and the problem is everybody in this half of the bracket, you're done tomorrow. Like, your best case, you're done tomorrow. But Riddick's going to have to pitch for them at 5 o'clock. And so do you really want to leave her in there to get just shelled? No. And so that does make some sense. You want to keep some semblance of confidence for your young lady who has to be good for you later to try to extend your season in a loser's bracket. And then if you're able to win that game, your best case scenario is you face this team again, so you don't want her to just keep getting pelted. That makes sense, but it's rough right now for them.
Well, Jayla Cobb has faced 9 batters. She has walked 5. She is behind 2-0. That one misses upstairs 3-0 now to Abby Brinkley.
And there was a moment when it got to about 8. There was just an absolute deflation out there. Yeah. The shoulders all sunk down, and that has continued.
3-0 is in the dirt, gets away from Ward. They hold the runner at third. No reason to send her, and it's bases loaded again for Bailey Stewart. That's now 6 walks issued by Jayla Cobb.
And you are seeing Coach Bush now not nearly as aggressive. We'll see if they start getting some pinch hitters up here. Not yet, but still the first inning. But nobody's trying to embarrass anybody out here. It's just a complete and utter mismatch in this ball game.
16-0, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first, and that is ball 1 to Bailey Stewart, who has a 2-run shot and an RBI single.
The OG Goose Lindsay is tuning in. Listening.
Welcome.
Lil Goose is out here. Michael Lindsay.
He might get to hear Oakdale coming up at 5 o'clock here on UCR.
Yeah, it's true.
2-0 here to Bailey Stewart. Oakdale and Hollow Rock Brewston squaring off right now. The winner of that game will meet the Tigerettes at 5. Yeah, it's the first inning.
You think this game's going to be – why are you assuming Gordonsville's going to win this game, Jacob?
3-0 here to Bailey Stewart. It is indeed the bottom of the first. That is not a mistake.
They can stand there right now.
It is 2 outs in the bottom of the first.
This inning will never end if they just stand there.
This one swung on, and a foul ball by Stewart. And that one was close enough for a strike, so she swung at it. 3-1.
And you're also going to see that for Gordonsville.
Yeah.
Anything close, take a hack. If you strike out, okay.
3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the bottom of 1. 16 runs have come across for the Tigerettes. They have to play at least 2 more innings. That one's in the dirt, ball 4, and it walks home a run. So Kat Johnson has scored 3 runs herself in the first inning. That is the 7th walk issued by Jayla Cobb. The bases are loaded with 2 outs for Laura Thompson. Now runner's going to come on here for Stewart, Paisley Underwood. And Laura Thompson does come to the plate here. And like you said, you're probably not making any changes in the first inning just because you don't want to use any of your subs just yet.
We will see that at some point.
At some point, yes. That one's outside from Cobb, 1-0.
And at this point, the only way this inning probably ends is if Gordonsville gives someone out, which they may do at 16-0.
Oakdale must not be faring too well.
Must not be.
Hollow Rock Brewston, pretty good team, 33-5. This one high in the air to the left. It's going to stay in the park in foul territory. And a foul ball by Laura Thompson.
I'm actively rooting for them to just get something. It's tough. Now you're into these are young athletes that have. Yeah, it's tough.
17 runs across for the Tigerettes.
This is not a football game. 17-0 in the first would be a high scoring.
Throw behind the runner. Back in safely is Callie Underwood over at third.
You're also to the point where you could see anything close, you call the out. And we won't argue with it.
We've already seen it on 1 ground out. Here's the 2-1. That one's outside, 3-1.
There's nothing you can do, though, when the pitches are 2 feet outside.
3 balls, 1 strike to Laura Thompson. Bases loaded, 2 outs here in the bottom of 1.
And we're going to look at the record, see what the most runs in an inning is.
It's got to be that hitter, I think. Or is ball 4. Either way, another run's coming across, and it's 18-0 in the first.
Let's figure this out.
So it's the 8th walk issued by Cobb, and for Halls, like you said, you're saving Riddick for that second game coming up at 5 o'clock. So she is out there. This one, first pitch swinging, that one through. It's going to score another couple of runs. 1 run across. They hold the runner at third. An RBI single for Mackenzie Herron. And the score now 19-0 as Abby Brinkley comes home to score.
I'm out of words, and that's very rare. I'm out of words.
Well, we had a story from the Press Box boys earlier this season that one of their teammates, when they were playing in high school, made all 3 outs in the inning. Camry Johnson has that chance.
Oh, no.
Coming up.
You don't want that for her.
No, but she has driven in 2 runs.
She's done her job.
Here's the 1-0. That's now 2-0 to Mackenzie Herron, who was to Callie Dillard, who was at the plate.
They can just stand there. There's no chance 3 strikes in a row are getting. So Gordonsville's going to have to swing to end this inning.
Callie Dillard, and it's 3-0.
They got to, at a certain point, coach, you got to make a move. Somebody can throw strikes.
Yeah. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Here it comes to Dillard. That one's outside, ball 4, another run across.
Well, here's a record for you. Most runs in a state tournament ever was by girls prep school in 1997. It was 60.
Well,
they're on pace to get there today.
Yeah. It's another walk, another run across, and Caitlin Roberts comes to the plate for the 3rd time. That's outside, ball 1. So Camry Johnson, who has made the 2 outs here in the inning, stands in the on-deck circle. It is the bottom of the first. And that one got away from Ward. Bounces off the backstop. Everybody stays where they are, 2-0. 20-0 in the first. And if you're just now tuning in, that is not a mistake.
Most runs in a game in the state tournament combined was 31. By one team, it's 24 in the entire game.
Throw down to third in the entire game?
The entire game. 24. Back in 1989.
What was the 60?
No, that's runs in the entire tournament.
Oh. This one in the dirt, and
they're 3 runs away from the record for most runs in a game, and we're in the bottom of the first inning.
My goodness. Well, it is another run across as Laura Thompson scores, and here comes Camry Johnson.
Come on, Camry.
Who is driven into runs, but is 0 for 2 with a couple of ground outs.
They don't even have most runs in an inning on here, and they've got everything else.
They may need to make that a record.
Well, it's going to be if they get 3 more.
That is ball 1 to Camry Johnson, who is trying to find her first time aboard today. She is the only batter in the lineup who has not reached. That one's low.
And I would suspect she's just not going to swing, and they're just going to call it. Gordonsville said that's enough.
As an end of the game or end
of
the
the
inning?
End of the inning. Yep.
They call it, I think what they did, they left third early. So
perfect.
It is the end of the inning. 21 runs across for the Tigerettes. It's the end of the first here in the 1A state tournament. It's presented by Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing on the Watson Chevy UCR Media Network. Discover the stylish and modern 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home with an open split bedroom floor plan designed for comfort and convenience. With 3,318 square feet under one roof, plus a bonus room over the garage and 1,400 square foot basement. Located in the Brookstone subdivision, this home is just minutes from Cookeville. The builder is also offering up to 3% in closing cost assistance. Call Sonia Brown with American Way Real Estate at 931-979-7145. Looking for weekend lunch and dinner plans? Since 1971, Nick's Restaurant has been locally owned and operated. From mouth-watering prime rib to delectable ice cream pie, Nick's has it all. Their cozy atmosphere and great service will make you feel right at home. Plus, their banquet space is perfect for any event. Visit them at 895 South Jefferson Avenue or online at nickscookville.com. Nick's Restaurant is a proud sponsor of this broadcast on the UCR Media. It's the second inning here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, the 1A state tournament. It is the top of the second inning. The score, 21-0, and the Tigerettes are on top.
And at the end, by the way, Coach Bush told his runner to leave the bag early. That ended the inning. So, again, not trying to embarrass anybody today is Gordonsville. They're just trying to take care of their business. So that does end the inning by leaving early off the bag and a little nod to the umpire saying, hey, call her for it, and we move on. Because if not, it was going to be 28-0, and actually probably 38-0. There was no end. And unfortunately, I don't know how this game – they're 3 runs away from the most runs ever scored. They're going to get one more set of ABs, the Tigerettes are. And if Halls can't find a way to throw strikes, we're going to have a repeat.
They are the home team, so they'll be coming up in the bottom of the second and then just need 3 outs in the top of the third. Carly Riddick leads it off here for Halls. She is their best batter in terms of power. It is Callie Dillard in the circle now as well as Kaylee Plumley goes over to first base, so just a straight-up switch for those two. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-1 here to Carly Riddick.
And we're talking in the break. We watch a lot of sports, a lot of high school sports. I've never seen anything like that.
I have never seen anything like that inning. That was incredible. Here's the 0-1. That's low and inside, and yeah, Callie Dillard hadn't thrown a whole lot here in the second half of the season. Obviously, Kaylee Plumley has taken all of those innings. But Callie Dillard threw it a lot at the beginning of the season, and she was really good.
Well, and you sometimes ask, why do we say Gordonsville is going to be so good even without Kaylee Plumley next year and these 3 seniors that they have? Well, Callie Dillard's a big part, but you're getting a taste because this is among the state's best, their opponents right now. And the gap is so – we saw this last year. It is so gargantuan, and it feels like it's bigger this year than even that year.
They won every game by run rule, albeit it was 7 innings against Halls last year in game number 1, 13-1.
So they're going to win this one by the run rule. I'll tell you that. They're going to win this one by the run rule.
21-0 after the first. Here's the 1-2 coming. Swing and a miss, and Callie Dillard has her first strikeout of the ball game.
Callie Dillard can shove. This girl can pitch. She's going to be a big problem for this state next year, and still high velocity. I mean, significantly higher velocity than anybody from Halls has had in this game, and that's a great start for her in the circle, getting her first real taste of state tournament experience here in her sophomore season.
The bad part for Halls, that's their best batter in the lineup. It brings now Maya Brown to the plate, the second baseman. And that one's in there for ball one. So in the field for Gordonsville today, we never got to that. Kat Johnson is at short. Now Kaylee Plumley over at first with Callie Dillard in the circle. Bailey Stewart is behind the plate. Lakin Roberts over at third base. Kaylin Roberts at second as that pitch misses low. 2 balls and no strikes to Brown. In the outfield, Mackenzie Herron is in left. Abby Brinkley in center. And the right fielder for the Tigerettes is Camry Johnson, who did not record the final outs in that last inning. Although she was at the plate.
She gets to lead off the next inning.
She does get to lead off the second.
At 21-0.
You mentioned 24 runs, the most amount of runs scored in a state tournament game. And the Tigerettes put up 21 in the first inning. Goose is out here today. He has the gargantuan lens.
Hey, Goose, you ever see anything like that before? Yeah, that's a no.
It's 3-1 here to Maya Brown at the plate. As Dillard is trying to work her way back into it. One out here in the top of the second. 3-1. Swung on. Slow roller. Will be a foul ball. 3-2. Goose has the little photographer seat. He can fold out.
I mean, Callie Dillard is good enough to win a state championship in the circle.
Yep.
Let's just be clear.
Yep. And when you got the bats that you do.
Oh, my goodness. You can go out there and throw and they'd win a state championship.
Hey, no. I don't know if I can throw underhanded.
That's a good point. I don't know if you can throw overhanded. You were real bold the other day.
3-2. Off the end of the bat right side. Roberts there. Throw to first in time. 2 up, 2 down here in the second. So in the first inning, Halls did have a runner reach. It was on a walk issue to Kylie Ward, but she was caught stealing. And at the time, we wondered why. Even Bailey Stewart was confused and still threw her out. Jayla Cobb comes to the plate, the left fielder, now in the circle. We'll see if she comes back out in the bottom of the second.
It's definitely not the Jayla Cobb that we
Not
know.
from Baxter,
That's
no.
Definitely not.
Not the basketball player who went to Rome State, I believe.
Correct.
Played for the Bees.
She's a softball player.
Played softball.
Her brother's pretty good.
1-0's low. Dillard struggling a little bit with the zone right now. She does have a strikeout and a ground out. Was able to work her way back into it after getting behind Brown. Now behind Cobb, 2-0. So the Tigerettes, once again, they will be playing again at 5 o'clock, sounds like, against Hollow Rock Brewston.
Well, they will win by a lot.
And not Oakdale. And that one's low and inside. Now 3-0 to Cobb. And coming out cleanly right now for Dillard.
She's got to be careful here. She's only got a 21-point lead in her back pocket. Don't want to lose her here.
Just mean.
3-0
to Cobb. That's right down Broadway.
Put some pressure on. You don't want to deal with that.
This is where the broadcast falls apart.
It's a 3-possession game.
That's a cross for a strike, 3-2, and Dillard has worked her way back into it for the second straight batter.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay. That's on me.
Off the end of the bat, a foul ball. I'm trying to get an update on this.
I'm trying not to lose it.
Oakdale score.
I'm not built to call 21-0 games in the second inning and tell you.
3-2 to Jayla Cobb.
Yeah,
2 outs here in the top of 2.
Way too many jokes in my head.
Dillard, and that one fouled off. Uh-oh. Just catch the dugout, hopefully. Or
I recommend our friends at Livingston Regional Hospital.
Oakdale has already lost 10-0. That game's over.
This game started late.
That started at 11 o'clock. And it is over. It was close for a little bit.
We may be here at 10 p.m. at this rate.
We are in the second inning. This one, back up the middle. Dillard to her right, throw to first, and that's a quick 3-up, 3-down inning for Callie Dillard in the top of 2. Bottom of 2, upcoming Tigerettes looking for insurance. It's the 1A state tournament presented by Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing on the Watson Chevy UCR Media.
Proudly introducing Upper Cumberland Generators for all your home power solutions.
Locally owned and operated, Upper Cumberland Generators are here to make sure you have peace of mind no matter the situation. With new and reliable generators, call 931-265-1702 for more information or to order yours today. Upper Cumberland Generators is proud to support this broadcast on the UCR Media Network.
Turfmasters Landscape Management has been serving the Upper Cumberland since 1996. They offer a variety of services, including lawn maintenance, landscape design and installation, landscape lighting, irrigation systems, and more. For more information, contact Matt Wilson at 931-261-1587 today. Turfmasters Landscape Management is a proud sponsor of this broadcast on the UCR Media Network.
Back here in Murfreesboro at McKnight Park, the Gordonsville Tigerettes on top 21-0 in the bottom of 2. Carly Riddick is back in the circle for the Lady Tigers. 9-1-2 due up for the Tigerettes. Camry Johnson, Kat Johnson, and Kaylee Plumley. Hey, if you need a car, truck, a vehicle of some sort, our friends at Watson Chevy, the presenting sponsor of the UCR Media Network, can get you right. Don't buy until you see Jason Fye. Noah did it.
Twice.
He's pretty darn happy.
Twice. That Silverado has a lot of miles on it, and it's still running smooth as butter. We've driven it all across creation the past couple of weeks.
Yes, we have.
It just smooth. You can barely even hear it at 90,000 miles in 2 years, which tells you how much we drive for this job.
Yes.
But don't buy until you see Jason Fye. Right there off of 111, you go north through Cookville, right before you get to Livingston, right off the highway. You cannot miss it. Best selection, new and pre-owned vehicles. They're going to treat you right in there. It's going to be quick and painless. You're not going to feel hassled. They got all the questions, all your questions. They have the answers for them.
And we might be having a conversation
we may be
here,
done here,
and we might be done. They're having a conversation with the head coaches.
And I wonder if Gordonsville's saying, okay, if you want to give them another chance to bat, we'll just give you 3 outs and move to the next half and finish it that way. Again, Coach Bush, he's as classy as it comes. They're not looking to do anything crazy here.
So the umpires came together. And
there's an administrator from TLSAA here as well. And I think they're having a discussion because and what you don't want is for some weird quirk in the rule book where if it's quote-unquote a forfeit, you can't play later or whatever. So discussion here.
And there is going to be a change if they end up batting. Callie Underwood will bat for Camry Johnson and then Paisley Underwood. So they are going to go to
where there's 1 out in an inning, something like that, where we just it's 21. This game is so over. It's 21-0, and nobody is. You haven't heard of the Gordonsville fans going crazy on runs or anything like that, and it is what it is. So what's the most painless way to finish this ball game? Let's do that.
Yeah, and for Halls, you want to finish it out, and you want to get ready for that next game as well to keep your season alive.
Exactly.
Now it's going to be an elimination game against Oakdale coming up at 5 o'clock.
And I cannot stress this enough, want to go eat before we have to come back here. So that's really the most important thing. We've got softball and baseball later, and
so this conversation between the umpires and the TSSAA administrators continues. They've already had the conversation with each head coach.
And you know what? In TSSAA, they're really good about this. They get a bad rep. I get it. Listen, let's just end this. That's my opinion. Let's just end this. It's 21-0. Run rule.
Technically, they're supposed to get to 3.
Good. Everyone's good. Nobody is going to argue with that. Let's just end it. Let's go home.
So Coach
there may be a, hey, our hands are tied thing from the umpire, and that's kind of what he threw his hands up about. And we'll see if they come tell us. Every once in a while, they'll come and tell us here on Media Row.
So they're bringing both head coaches in. All 3 umpires are having a conversation with both head coaches. And they're having the conversation of what to do. Obviously, already 21 runs across in the first inning. And the conversation for Coach Perryman is obviously you don't want it to show that you're just giving up.
Right. Put 2 zeros on the board and let's just we're done. It's okay.
And now the TSSAA administrator will come out as well.
And there are rules, and this is a state tournament.
Yep.
So you want to make sure you're all checked out, and that there's not going to be some come around later. Well, hey, they forfeited that. They can't play this game by another opponent and all that, and you got to make sure you're clear on that if you're Halls.
Exactly. And it's a pretty long conversation here as well.
And if you are Coach Bush, worst case, you can say, hey, we're just going to bunt 3 times.
Well, and
stand there.
I mean, they've already made subs. Callie Underwood, Paisley Underwood are both.
There are ways to do it the other way, though. If you can bunt 3 times, stand there, tag her.
Yeah. Or just swing.
Yeah, swing.
Not competitively.
Swing as hard as you can, or just lightly swing as it passes by. We're going to call 3 strikeouts and move on. They're calling somebody else.
Yeah, right now the TSSAA administrator was on site, is calling somebody.
Probably over in the media headquarters back in Sportscom.
Yeah.
And again, nobody wants this, but it's 21-0. It's been a great performance by Gordonsville. They have not played with their food at all. They've come in here and handled their business. And now nobody's trying to get embarrassed. Let's just see if we can finish this game as easy as possible.
So we're trying to listen in. They're halfway between third base and home plate right now, so a little bit away from us. Can't quite hear them.
And right now there's do you agree, do you agree, do you agree, do you agree?
Another TSSAA administrator. Now Coach Bush will have a conversation.
Ball game.
And I think they're going to call it.
Yep, ball game.
So that is the end of the ball game. We play an inning and a third in the first game of the state tournament for the Gordonsville Tigerettes, and it will be a final score of 21-0. So next up, 5 o'clock, the Gordonsville Tigerettes will take on Hollow Rock Brewston here at McKnight Park. And, yeah, good luck picking the Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing Player of the Game.
Well, first of all, another thanks. We didn't get a ton of time to talk about them today in an inning and a half. Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing, the presenting sponsor of our spring fling coverage. We'll have more time later on and moving through the week to talk about them. Located at Circle Drive and All Good, your one-stop shop. The UCR polos that we wear, which are very light outside today. We appreciate those from there. Trophies. You need T-shirts printed, whatever you need, they're going to take care of you right there on Circle Drive and All Good. Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing. They've been the Player of the Game sponsor since we've had a broadcast, an all-inclusive sponsor for a long time, and now sponsoring the state tournament. I can literally go anywhere. Home run, fun. Bailey Stewart.
There you go.
Had 3 RBIs in this ball game. She reached 3 times, has a home run, and a walk. Oh, and she caught a runner stealing in this game. Complete dominance out of the Tigerettes. Exactly what they needed. They played an inning and a half and won it 21-0.
So this game is coming to an end in the middle of the second inning, 21-0. Both head coaches came together. The administrators of the state tournament came together, decided 21 runs is enough. They're not going to get the record of 24 in one ball game, but they get 21 in one inning. Next up for the Gordonsville Tigerettes, taking on Hollow Rock Brewston, coming up in game number 2 today in a new stream that'll be Facebook-only audio broadcast. Facebook only because Upperman Baseball will get started at 6:30. That'll be on YouTube only, so we'll have 2 games going at one time if the Gordonsville Hollow Rock Brewston game gets into that 6:30 time slot. So Facebook only coming up at 5 o'clock. We'll be back here at McKnight. Just myself on the call of that one. Goose will probably be out here. He might make a trip over to Upperman Baseball afterwards as well. Appreciate you tuning in. Once again, today's game was presented by Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing. It will be presented by them coming up in game number 2 as well. We hope you tune in for it. Bailey Stewart, your Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing Player of the Game. The final score today, 21-0 in an inning and a third in the opening game of the 1A state tournament for the Gordonsville Tigerettes as they improve to 32